keep in mind, you can have a not-for-profit and still make a profit. Not-for-profit means that there are no stockholders profiting from the corporation. That's what not-for-profit means. It doesn't mean you don't make money. Hello, this is Reverend Lance with streetbishops.com, and I am going to make this video this morning to more clearly answer a 501c3 question. Now, although you're finding this video on a ministry website, this applies to almost any 501c3. And I've been working with folks I've had my own 501c3, several of them for over 20 years, plus I've helped many organizations start theirs, and I've got some special designation from the IRS as donor-directed giving and things like that. So we've got some specialty in this area. So let me go ahead and give you sort of what a lot of you have been asking for, and that is a preparation list for filing for your 501c3. Because even before you decide to drop the $350, $375, whatever that is on the IRS, you have to make sure that your corporate paperwork and that your organizational paperwork is in order. Otherwise, your 501c3 application will be rejected. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about. So let's just say that you've maybe just gotten ordained with us or somebody else, and you want to start a ministry and you want it to be a 501c3. Maybe you want to apply for grant money or whatever, but you want it to be have not-for-profit status from the IRS. So let's make something clear here at first, and that is your corporate individual standing comes from the state. Your IRS 501c3 designation comes from the federal government. Corporate is state, tax is feds. The 501c3 designation is from the feds. Let's keep those separate. Now, what you need to do very first before you do anything else is create a document of organization. And it doesn't have to be fancy, okay? What this document needs to include is this: what your purpose is, keep it very vague, don't make it specific at all, okay? For example, if you're in religious services, the organization document can, if you're going to help homeless on the streets, then just say, we're going to assist homeless folks that are stranded on the streets. Resist the temptation to put anything about religion in there, because you don't want to block yourself in the future from gifts from non-religious organizations or organizations that are not of your religion. You want everyone's money. So create a formation document. Most states require that you have 3 officers when you start a 501c3. Some of them don't. Virginia doesn't. Some states don't, but some states require that you have 3. It's a good idea anyway to have a president, a vice president, and a secretary, or a president, a secretary, and a treasurer. So let's say you've gathered together at least 3 people, maybe 8, who want to begin this ministry with you. Now, it can be your ministry, and I speak a lot in my other videos about keeping control of your ministry, right? Not having someone yank it out from under you. But you want to have an organizing document that says what you're going to do, okay, and list the names and addresses and phone numbers and email addresses of all of the signing members of that document. Again, you should have at least 3. You could have 10 if you wanted, but have everybody's information on there and have each person sign it, okay? If you want, you can contact me and I will guide you through this process, and I'll look at your document before. I used to do this for free, and I still do to some degree, but what I've realized is I'm getting such response from a lot of you what I'm asking you all to do now is, if I assist you in putting together this 50C3, I ask that you make some kind of a donation to our veterans group, which is veterantoday.org. And for that donation, we'll actually list you at the back of these life-saving videos that we're making for having made that donation. So if you want, I can shepherd you through. I can look at that document, say, you need a little more of this, a little less of that, put everyone's name this way, that way. But anyways, get your document, get everyone together. Well, you don't have to get everyone together. We're get everyone to sign that document, okay? So that's your organizing document. The second thing you're going to want to do is file a corporate charter with your state's Secretary of State. Now, the only difference between a regular corporation and a not-for-profit corporation is that the regular corporation has stockholders. A regular C corporation has stockholders. A not-for-profit corporation does not have any stockholders because it owns itself. It owns itself, and nobody will benefit from profits or losses related to that organization. That's the only difference between the two. So when you create your corporate document through the state, a lot of states now on their electronic processing have a not-for-profit selection for you to select to say, yeah, I want to create a corporation, but it's a not-for-profit. Do not rely on what the state puts up to have the language you need for the IRS. It has the language you need for them, for that state. But just because it says not-for-profit corporation, start a not-for-profit corporation, click here on the state website, the state's taking care of the state. It doesn't really care about you and the IRS. It doesn't care at all about that. I know this from experience, from what other people have done. You have to include in the space that they allow additional language that comes directly from the IRS. Language that says things like, there are no stockholders, nobody will financially benefit from the corporation. When it dissolves, its assets will go to another not-for-profit, things like that. So before you file, again, I'm only charging a few bucks these days to help out. It's a donation to our veterans group, but I'm seriously suggesting if you get me on the phone so that I can help you look at what state you're going to file in, make sure. I mean, what I've been doing for a lot of groups is once they have their formation document, with their permission, I'm just going through and filing everything for them. That way it's right. I use your email address, I use all of your information, I pay the fees, and then you pay me back. That way we know that everything's getting done properly, okay? So you have your formation document, then you get your not-for-profit, then you create a corporation with no stockholders, okay? And with the appropriate IRS language. Remember, the state will make sure it has its language in there, but its concern is not the IRS. You have to go in and add the IRS language in most states. Once you file that document, or if I file it for you, then we go over and we get an EIN number. It takes a few minutes. We get you an EIN number, an employer identification number from the IRS. Now, see, we've switched gears to the IRS. Once all that's in place, we may want to file a couple of pieces of state paperwork for you, depending on what your state is. Then once all that's done, we can then take that information and go to the IRS website and file the not-for-profit paperwork, which is just click, 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 but you got to answer the questions correctly. You've got to answer the questions correctly. And you need to make the budgets teeny tiny so that they don't get caught up in a bunch of baloney. Again, I can help you with this. I can't even count how many not-for-profit setups I've done before. So if you need the help, you need to reach out to me. Organizing documents, not-for-profit corporation filing, IRS EIN number, any additional state filings that need to be made, taxes, etc., state taxes. Especially if you want to then at some point you're going to get a tax exempt. And then we do the 501c3. Those first steps can all be done in 3 or 4 days. Then we have to wait for this stuff to go through the system. Then you file the 501c3. Once you file, you can act as a 501c3 as long as you keep your books that way. You don't give any money. You don't share profits or losses with the officers. Keep in mind, you can have a not-for-profit and still make a profit. Not-for-profit means that there are no stockholders profiting from the corporation. That's what not-for-profit means. It doesn't mean you don't make money. It means that any money that you make is not paid to stockholders. It's retained internally and used for operations. You can pay staff. You can pay part-time workers, you can pay casual labor, you can pay for supplies, you can pay rent, you can pay for all the things you need to pay for. You just can't issue a dividend to a stockholder because there are no stockholders. It's a zero stock corporation. That's the gist of it. So that's how you get this thing started, and that's sort of your checklist. If you want to know more about it, reach out to me. My phone number's up here. And let's get this started for you. If you're doing a religious organization and you want to have ordination so that there's a minister at the top of this, you can apply for that here on this website. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, go to streetbishops.com. So whatever you need to get up and moving, we want to do that for you. Okay, so I'm Reverend Lance. Click the like button if this has helped you out. A thumbs up. And call me with any questions or comments that you have. And let's get this 501c3 up and running for you. Okay? Have a blessed day.